Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Good evening. You're watching the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. First, the headlines. The 59th batch of officers at Sultan Qaboos Academy for Police Sciences has graduated. The Ministry of Health warns citizens and residents not to visit Mid and East African countries until further notice because of the Ebola virus outbreak. An IS militant seized Kenitra border crossing between Syria and Israel and Golan Heights. Those were the headlines. Now for the news in detail. A ceremony was held at the military parade ground in Sultan Qaboos Academy for Police Sciences for the graduation of the 59th batch of new police recruits. The event was presided over by Major General Ghassan bin Hilal Al-Alawi, Assistant Head of Internal Security Service for Operations. The ceremony started with the arrival of the chief guest and performing the military salute for him by the graduates. Then the commander of the parade requested the chief guest to inspect the first row of the parade. After that, the graduates performed slow and normal military marches. Then the chief guest distributed appreciation prizes to the top graduates. After that, the graduates sang Royal Oman Police, Nasheed, Guardian of the Right, and chanted thrice allegiance call for His Majesty Sultan Qaboos. Then the graduates performed the military salute for the chief guest, and the commander of the parade proceeded and requested the chief guest to depart the parade ground. A workshop on National Plan of Emergency to respond to Ebola virus was held this morning under the auspices of His Excellency Dr. Mohammed bin Saif Al Hosni, Under-Secretary of Health Affairs. More details in the following report by Abdullah bin Ahmed Al Rabai.
The National Task Force for Ebola virus, in collaboration with the Center for Emergency Medical Response and Public Health, organized a workshop to introduce the National Plan for Emergency Response to Ebola virus, infection control guidelines for management of suspected or confirmed Ebola virus disease, the readiness of local laboratory centers to receive the samples and to send it to the identified diagnostic centers, and the application of practical training for the staff on how to apply the methods and means of infection control on suspected cases that if emerge, God forbid, as well as challenges that staff may face during the implementation phase of the recommendations of the national plan. Dr. Saif Al-Abri, infectious disease consultant and chairman of the task force committee, has this to say.
The main purpose is to raise the awareness amongst the healthcare workers working in the different institutions in the Sultanate, both from the public sector and the private sector, and to go through the National Ebola Emergency Operational Preparedness Plan, which has been written and done by the National Committee to deal with the Ebola virus disease. And the expectations from them is to go back to their institutions, to their governorates and their hospitals, wherever they belong to, and adapt operational plans of how to deal with any suspected or confirmed case of an Ebola virus. Sultanate of Oman is free of any suspected Ebola virus disease. And what we do right now is to be sensitive so that we can pick up any case suspected of having Ebola virus disease coming to the Sultanate of Oman, so that it's recognized and the needful medical care is done.
During the workshop, a further notice was issued which stated that due to the spread of Ebola virus in some of the African countries, the Ministry of Health urges all citizens and residents to avoid traveling to Central Africa and West Africa until further notice. Hence, those who have visited the following countries, Liberia, Sierra Leone, Guinea, Nigeria and Congo, are requested to report to the nearest health center immediately after their arrival, even if they are not suffering from any symptoms of the Ebola. Abdullah bin Ahmed Al Rabai, Sultanate of Oman Television.
His Excellency Syed Mohammed bin Sultan Al Busaidi, Minister of State and Governor of Dhofar, received in his office today the delegation of the Indian National Defence College, headed by Major General B. Singh, senior faculty at the college. During the meeting, the delegation got acquainted with the role of Minister of State and Governor of Dhofar office in overall development, besides strategic importance of the governorate. With the advent of the new school year, the Public Authority for Consumer Protection in the Governorate of North Sharqiyya is intensifying its efforts in monitoring the markets as to ensure that some traders will not increase the prices of school stationery. This came through its team in various markets in the vilayas of the Governorate of North Sharqiyya to monitor these markets and deal with any violations in terms of prices and quality of products. Training qualifying arbitrators and spread the culture of commercial arbitration were the most important aims of the conference on arbitration international oil and construction contracts. It has been organized in the Governorate of Dhofar by Gulf Commercial Arbitration Center. The inauguration ceremony of the conference was presided over by His Excellency Dr. Abdullah bin Mohammed Al Saidi, Minister of Legal Affairs. The conference came to enhance the role of commercial arbitration as a mechanism to settle commercial disputes and attract foreign investments. A press conference was held today in the Sultanate's Embassy in Abu Dhabi to highlight the Omani Products Exhibition that will be launched in Dubai from 14th to 16th of September. It aimed to promote and introduce quality Omani product as well as the ability to compete in abroad markets. Stay tuned because still to come in our news bulletin. The third National Arts Festival aimed to shed light on the art of Ar-Rasva in the Wilaya of Sohar.
من هنا تبدأ أسطر الحكاية. تقاليدها راسخة كالجبال. أصالتها مضرب مثل في كل مكان. بساطتها ليس لها مثيل. لا حدود لكرمها. حاضرها مشرق متجدد. مهرجان الصلالة السياحي 2014 من 30 من يوليو إلى 6 من سبتمبر.
Welcome back to the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. The group monitoring the Syrian conflict said today that IS militants have taken control of a border crossing on the line dividing Syria from the Israeli-occupied Golan Heights. The Syrian Observatory for Human Rights said that the fighters captured the Kenitra post on the Syria side from forces Syrian government after fierce clashes. One Israeli occupation forces soldier was wounded today after shelling from the Syrian side into the Golan Heights. The soldier sustained shrapnel wounds to the chest and was airlifted to Rambam Medical Center in Haifa. In total, 3 mortar shells were fired during the attack. No other injuries were reported, which occurred near the Kenitra crossing, but 2 cars were damaged in the attack. UN Secretary-General Ban Kimoon welcomed ceasefire agreement reached between the Palestinians and Israelis in Cairo and called on the parties concerned to tackle the roots of the dispute. According to a statement issued by his press office, Ban Ki-moon expressed that the United Nations is ready to support efforts to tackle the crisis and the hope that ceasing fire will form beginning of a political process that will eventually lead to a lasting peace based on a 2-state solution. He pointed to the need for Israelis and Palestinians to resume their normal lives and the need to handle the humanitarian issue in Gaza. Ukraine accused Russian forces of launching a new military incursion across its border today, a day after the leaders of both countries agreed to work towards ending a separatist war in the east of the country. The accusation, which could not be immediately verified, quickly dented any sense of cautious optimism from yesterday late-night talks between Presidents Vladimir Putin and Petro Poroshenko on resolving the 5-month conflict. Ukrainian military spokesman Andriy Lysenko said a group of Russian soldiers had crossed the border in armored infantry carriers and a truck and entered the eastern town not far from where Ukraine detained 10 Russian soldiers on Monday. The third traditional arts festival was held in the Vilayet of Sohar. It was organized by the Ministry of Heritage and Culture with the aim to shed light on the art of Arasfa, which is considered a famous traditional dance in the northern Vilayets of the Sultanate. It witnessed a huge participation from traditional art groups and those interested in such events. The participants expressed that such activities motivate the youth to preserve the Omani heritage and civilization. Now for the general weather forecast, cloudy skies will prevail over the coastal areas of the Governorate of Dhofar and nearby mountains with chances of intermittent drizzle. Rest of the Sultanate will have clear to partly cloudy skies with chances of scattered rain over parts of the Hajar Mountains. Winds will be southerly to southwesterly moderate to active along the coast of Arabian Sea, while it will be southeasterly to easterly light to moderate over the rest of the Sultanate. Seas along the coastal areas of Arabian Sea will be rough with a maximum wave height of 3.5 meters, and along the rest of the coast it will be slight to moderate with a maximum wave height of 1.5 meters. This is the Sultanate of Oman television. Before we end tonight's bulletin, here are the main points once again. The 59th batch of officers at Sultan Qaboos Academy for Police Sciences has graduated. The Ministry of Health warns citizens and residents not to visit Mid and East African countries until further notice because of the Ebola virus outbreak. An IS militant seized Kenitra border crossing between Syria and Israel in Golan Heights. With that, we come to the end of tonight's news bulletin. From all of us at the newsroom and the studio, thank you for watching and good night.